Roger Marshall, member of the Senate Finance Committee and Budget Committee, also a member of the GOP Doctors Caucus. Senator, welcome, and thanks for coming on. We started off this segment hearing from Democratic Congressman McGovern calling the reconciliation bill ugly, saying he's clearly not in favor of it. I'm guessing you feel differently.
No, absolutely. To your point just a second ago, when we pass this bill, it's going to mean $1,000 per month of more money in hardworking Americans' pockets. That's a big deal. You live on a $60,000, $80,000 a year, and I'm going to give you $1,000 more each month to help feed your family. All the things, maybe get a new fishing boat eventually as well. That's always been my dream, is to have a nice fishing boat. So I think that, look, I thought about this weekend during a baseball game. If the House, if this was a baseball game, the House is going into the 7th inning, and we're going to have to bring our closer in sooner than expected. So we're going to bring in Donald Trump. And you think about all the great closers in the history of baseball. You've got Goose Gossage, who had a fastball. So we'll bring him in the 8th inning, and then the 9th inning, President Trump will be like Mario Rivera, who has his cutter. So look, if it wasn't for President Trump, this doesn't happen. But I do believe in Speaker Johnson, President Trump. They'll get it across the finish line, send it over here, and we'll make the bill even better.
Well, I'm with you on the fishing boat. I'd love a brand new boat. That'd be great. And I'm sure a lot of other folks would love that as well. I want to ask you about President Trump and his visit to Capitol Hill, which is, as we pointed out, a rarity for the Commander-in-Chief to go over to Capitol Hill and to really get in the nitty-gritty of this bill. How much of an impact does that make?
It's all the difference in the world. If you think about where the big divisions are on this bill, it's the salt tax. Here you have some Republicans from districts that are blue, and they want this salt tax to go up. And by the way, it's going to cost $1 trillion over the next 10 years. And you have conservative Republicans, myself, who say the biggest issue in the country right now is our national debt. And there's so many other things we could do with that $1 trillion rather than spending it, giving these people from blue states a big tax break as well. So President Trump is trying to find that sweet spot. This bill is not perfect. This is not the bill that a conservative Republican like myself would write. But we're getting there. This is the first step towards a balanced budget. We need to deliver on the president's promises.
The Senate took some action of its own yesterday. We saw no taxes on tips. Unanimous support here. And that was sort of isolated, right? This big, beautiful bill's got everything in it. But what do you think about that, Senator? The idea of sort of picking apart different pieces of key Trump administration agenda points and voting on that and then seeing how people decide.
Yeah, so by the way, these are very popular concepts as well, and this gets the Democrats on record. So they'll reject the whole bill saying that they don't like one part of it. So this helps get them on record. Are they really serious about helping hard-working Americans out there? So I think Ted Cruz led the no tax on tips yesterday. We're leading the no tax on overtime, and then we'll do the no tax on Social Security as well. And regardless, President Trump, those are his goals. Somewhere, though, at the end of the day, we've got to cut some spending. Right now, the House has cut about $1.5 trillion in spending over the next 2 years. We really need to get to $2 trillion in cuts to be able to pay for President Trump's priorities like we just talked about.
Let's talk about the Golden Dome missile defense system that the president unveiled yesterday in great detail. The project would cost around $175 billion. He introduced that. I'm curious to know your thoughts on it, but also more specifically, we're getting reports that China is concerned that a Golden Dome missile defense system being built is troubling. They're concerned about America building this, essentially defending, her own country. Why would China be concerned about a missile defense system for the United States of America? And also maybe your thoughts there on the defense system.
Well, obviously, this would give us a big advantage if we can shoot down all the Chinese nuclear warheads and their warp speed missiles that they have as well. They would just put our military at a big advantage. But to me, this is a defensive weapon. As far as the United States has been concerned, look, we don't want to rule the world. We just want to make sure our families are safe and secure. I think this would be a great investment. $175 billion is what the president's going to spend on this probably. Think about this. We spent $200 billion in Ukraine, and I don't know what that did for the safety of American citizens. I think that this takes me back to my boyhood of when they announced a shot for the moon, going to the moon. And this was something that Americans can rally around together, that we can cheer for together. We don't have the technology to complete this yet. It looks next to impossible. I would put this way ahead of any purpose of going to Mars for America right now. So I think this is a good investment. It's going to make Americans safer. That's what President Trump promised us. He said he's going to make our families safer and more secure. So I'm behind it. I'm excited about the technology. And there'll be so many other benefits from this technology going forward as we develop this.
All right. We'll be watching for it. An idea of a Golden Dome over America is very, very interesting. Senator Roger Marshall, thanks so much for spending time with us this morning. We appreciate it.